the EVMs have opened now. So the first round of counting is presently underway. The EVMs have opened at a few places. So now, we are also going to keep a very close track on those numbers. शौकत बताइए EVMs कहाँ खुले जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में, आपको क्या खबर आ रही है?
मैम, उससे पहले मैं आपको एक बड़ी खबर ये है कि महबूबा मुफ्ती की बेटी इल्तिजा मुफ्ती बिजबेहारा से लीड कर रही है। अच्छा। अभी ये हमारे पास आया है ताज़ा ही। उसके अलावा JKPCC के प्रेसिडेंट जो हैं वो लीड कर रहे हैं सेंट्रल स्टार्टिंग श्रीनगर से, और फ्यू प्लेसेस पे जो है EVM स्टार्ट हो गया है अभी काउंटिंग।
हाँ, so EVMs have opened now in Jammu and Kashmir, and I'll just quickly ask Iqbal as well. इकबाल बताइए हरियाणा में क्या सीन है?
हरियाणा देखिए सिरसा है, हिसार है, इन जगहों पे अभी EVM ओपन हो गई है, और अभी कई जगहों पे जो है देखिए अपडेट भी हमारे पास आने लगा है, और लगातार मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ जैसे विनेश फोगाट जुलाना से अभी भी लीड कर रही हैं लगातार, शुरुआती दौर से लीडिंग पे हैं। वहीं अगर मैं बात करूँ अगर सावित्री जिंदल की, वो भी देखें शुरुआत से लीड कर रही थी, अभी भी लीड पे ही हैं। और बीजेपी भी कई इसमें अब देखा अनिल विज है अम्बाला कैंट से बड़ी कद्दावर नेता।
सिरसा and अम्बाला में EVMs अब खुल गई हैं, and that's also very important. They have the highest Dalit concentration, and we've seen this whole election and how important and significant the Dalit vote is going to be. Back to the studios, Anand.
Right. Thank you for that, Avantika. So EVMs are now being opened. First round of counting on in a lot of the assembly constituencies, and the numbers will start plotting and correcting themselves thick and fast. By the time we get to about 4 or 5 rounds, there should be certain candidates who would have opened up significant leads, but till the last round of counting, since it's assembly elections, it may just go right down to the wire. Some key race alerts: Gopal Kanda is leading in Sirsa and Haryana. Those the alerts come. Nayab Singh Saini continues to lead from Ladwa. Savitri Jindal continues to lead. Aditya Surjewala, Randeep Surjewala's son, is leading from Kaithal in Haryana. We also have Savitri Jindal, who continues to lead from the time the first postal ballot numbers started coming in. Abhay Singh Chautala is also leading from Elanabad in Haryana. And we also have Digvijay Singh Chautala. He is leading from Dabwali in Haryana. So the Chautalas is going towards INLD. Aarti Singh Rao, Ateli, Haryana. So Haryana map plotted on the wall. Yes, Saka.
Dushant,
Anil Vij leading.
Yeah, Dushant, last I checked, was trailing. So which means the JJP vote, they got 10 seats last time, largely the Jat vote. That is now 0. The JJP is 0. Whatever Jat vote there is, which is anti-Congress, anti-BJP, is going to the INLD. So Abhay Chautala, Arjun Chautala, and also Mr. Devilal's grandson, all three of them are leading. These are the 3 seats from Dabwali, where Aditya Devilal is leading. Arjun Chautala is leading from Rania, and then from Elanabad, Abhay Chautala is leading. There's also Gopal Kanda, who I think was a minister in the previous government, independent. He's also leading from the constituency of Sirsa. So that belt seems to have gone vis-a-vis the INLD. So I think one of the side stories, of course, the main headline is that the Congress is sweeping Haryana. The side story is part of the Jat vote, which went to Dushant and the JJP, which was a newly formed party 5 years ago, that has now gone back to the INLD. I wouldn't be surprised if I see some kind of closing of ranks of the Chautala family, and instead of having 2 parties, they eventually fold into 1. But we'll have to wait on that. There are also 7 independents who have also are in the lead, including the likes of Savitri Jindal. But I think the big picture as far as Haryana is concerned is Congress is leading in almost all the regions of Haryana. They're leading in the Ambala belt in the north, they're leading in the Karnal, Kurukshetra belt, again in the north central part, they're leading in Rohtak, obviously that's the guard of the Hoodas. They're also leading in the south, in the new belt, which borders Rajasthan. So clearly, the BJP's strongholds, as it were, urban centers and this GT corridor belt, in neither of those 2 centers, the BJP seems to be leading. We don't have enough in Bhiwani Mahendragarh, of course. The BJP seems to, at least in the urban pockets, couple of seats there. But in the Jat belt here in Sirsa, in the westernmost part of the state, whatever movement happened to the JJP back in the 2019 election, that vote seems to be coming back to Abhay Chautala and to the INLD. Quick word on Jammu and Kashmir. You can see the map populating. In the upper reaches, it's dark blue for the National Conference, in case you're wondering the color combinations. Dark blue for the National Conference, light blue for the Congress, saffron, of course, for the BJP, and light green for the PDP. So 47. They've gone past the halfway mark, Congress NC. A large number of the dark blues are in the upper reaches. It's in the Kashmir Valley. Couple of light blues in Jammu. I can see 1 seat here, 1 seat here in the Rajouri Poonch belt as well. PDP also opening its account in the Kashmir Valley. So clearly, I think it's as Rahul was arguing a moment ago, it's similar to what we saw in the last election, except that the BJP's seats, a large chunk of them, are coming from Jammu, no doubt about it. So there will be a larger proportion of BJP MLAs from the Jammu belt and a larger proportion of Kashmiri MLAs from NC as well as Congress, and maybe some from the PDP as well. 5 is what we're showing right now. Even the others, again, you're seeing, we don't know which parties they are. We'll break that down for you, but there are 10 others. I can see 2 constituencies here in the upper reaches. There's 1 here in Jammu. But it seems like, you know, it's consolidating more and more in favor of the Congress NC. It was at 45 a few minutes ago. Now it's gone up to 47. I think there's 1 seat that's oscillating between an independent and an NC candidate.
NC
So
candidate,
that will again sort of consolidate in that direction.
Yeah, and we'll have to also see Haryana. In Haryana, what's happening is that the Congress has slipped 2 seats, BJP has gained 2 seats, but still a 30-seat lead. It's just the early rounds of counting of the ballot boxes or the EVMs that's now begun, ladies and gentlemen. But as of 9:15 this morning, this is how the scenario is. An hour and 15 minutes into counting, the Congress leading in 55 seats in Haryana, the Congress plus NC leading in 47 seats in Jammu and Kashmir, and in both places they seem to be comfortably placed to form government or stake claim to form government. Now, is there a twist in the story as the counting continues, or as often that happens in the recent past, will these leads settle? Where now there you go, Congress slipping another seat in Haryana, BJP picking up to 26. So is there some drama there? We'll have to wait and watch over the course of the next hour and a half. And is that drama enough for the Congress, for the BJP to pull up 20 seats away from the Congress and to try and form government there in Haryana? Or is it just that the Congress has a few nervy moments and then but it still remains comfortable as it leads, as it sees right now? Will there be a twist in the story as more of the ballot boxes are counted? Will the leads open up further in favor of Congress NC as they have just done now? Again, 48 and 26, 1 seat oscillating. We'll have to wait and watch. Let's take it to our guest, Nalin Mehta. Is it based on your estimations, or is there a twist in the story? Postal ballots are done. Now it's the ballot boxes which are open, EVMs that are open.
So usually, Anand, there's not much to read in postal ballots, so physiologically one shouldn't read that much into it. However, what the projections are currently showing at the moment is very much in line with what the exit polls have been predicting.
See, Haryana numbers are changing. See, the Congress has slipped from 57 to 52. BJP has gone up to 28. So they seem to be changing with the EVMs now being counting, and as and when rounds are increasing. Yes, Nalin, please continue.
No, so if you look at the J&K number, BJP is 25, which is pretty much in the range of what the poll of the polls predicted.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 25 to 30 for BJP. BJP, yes, it is picking up a little bit in Haryana, but in general, the trend line is pretty much on par with what our reporters have been telling us.
In this current scenario, Congress NC does not need anybody. At 52 leads, they don't need anybody. They just can go ahead and stake claim to form government without any of the others involved, and that means that they have been able to push a narrative on ground which has worked. Now, whether it is selling snake oil or if it is something else, but the fact is, this is a huge responsibility on the shoulders of the Congress and the National Conference, because how they conduct themselves in Jammu and Kashmir and what they do will have an impact on how they are perceived across the country.
And may I say, Anand, that between Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir, what happens in Haryana has a huge ramification for politics in the Hindi heartland. Haryana has generally been outsides in its political influence compared to its size. But what happens in Jammu and Kashmir has huge ramifications for globally. It's the most watched election globally from India at the moment, because after 370 and so on, whoever comes to power, if it's NC and Congress, perhaps with PDP support, the actions they take will be watched very closely.
No, the other thing is, the story is that this election is not doctored. If this is the mandate of the people, the biggest story that goes across is that this is a democratic process and the people have been free to choose. Now, what the ramifications of that for us as a country are, that's a different story. Yes, Rahul Shivshankar.
No, democracy khatre mein hai, bogie has now been buried once and for all, and that's why the Congress realized that there were going to be diminishing returns from that particular plank. So what do? We pivot towards whether Dalits are getting their due, whether the castes are getting enough representation. That pivot was done about 6 months back, and the Congress, whether it is in Jammu or it is now in Haryana, it is getting some amount of traction by playing that card. Look, the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir was hoping that in Kashmir, the vote would splinter, in fact, across the various little dynamics that they had sort of cultivated demographically. They had talked about Bakkarwals, they had talked about several other communities, the Shias, the Sunnis, this, that, the other. There was a hope that a monolithic vote will not consolidate behind one or two political parties. It has, That experiment has failed. In Jammu,